Just when you thought things couldn't get no worse for Stephen A. Smith, his moderator, ESPN First Take, Molly Qerim, steps up and hits Stephen A. Smith with a gut punch, telling Stephen A. Smith can't have it both ways. But we're going to talk about all that next here, Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, guys, man, this back and forth with Stephen A. Smith pertaining to LeBron James, more likely Stephen A. Smith's side, this really got Stephen A. Smith fumbling and bumbling his words. And everybody is picking up on what Stephen A. Smith is really all about. You know, Stephen A. Smith has been exposed for many lies that he's told in this LeBron James situation. And people have come out and exposing Stephen A. Smith. All his colleagues and all his contemporaries have said some things about Stephen A. Smith that are very alarming. And Stephen A. Smith has made it abundantly clear that he is going to stand 10 toes down and he's not going to back off nothing he said. And when I say that, because he had to come out with a statement after he put out that false narrative about LeBron James not being at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. So he had to come out on his Twitter X and recant that statement. I don't know if this is something his bosses told him to do, because it wasn't a good look for Stephen A. Smith to bring all this stuff up when you're going back and forth with LeBron James, because that has nothing to do with basketball criticism. This has something to do with personal things outside of LeBron James and Bronny James playing basketball. So you want to bring in the memorial of Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to the late, great Kobe Bryant. And when you did that, a lot of people was like, man, that's diabolical. Why would you even bring that up? You're bringing up stuff that has no meaning to the game of basketball when you're on that court. And like you said, you get paid to critique somebody's basketball game, and that's what you're going to do. But it seems like you haven't been doing that. You've been taking it outside of basketball, and a lot of people say you have crossed the lines. So a lot of people are calling you out for the BS. A lot of people are calling you out for all the lies that you've been telling. And just like Marcellus Wiley said about the fact, the real reason you mad at LeBron is because of the Max Kellerman situation. And you're treating LeBron like Max Kellerman. And we all know what happened when Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith was on First Take together. Terrell Owens came on there and he told Stephen A. Smith that Max is more blacker than you. And that set Stephen A. Smith off. And Stephen A. Smith went on a whole tangent. And then Max Kellerman get let go from ESPN First Take. You know what Stephen A. Smith did? Stephen A. Smith went on a world tour on all these podcasts, Drink Champions, DJ Academics, and all that, and up in smoke. And people wanted to know why Max Kellerman got let go. Stephen A. Smith said he never wanted to, see him leave, but things just, took its course, played out. And a lot of people said Stephen A. Smith was behind the firing of Max Kellerman. So then this back and forth with LeBron James goes on the Pat McAfee show and says something about Stephen A. And Stephen A. just went ballistic, went on his podcast, went on First Take, and still has been talking about it. And every time he opens up his mouth, somebody exposes him for lies that he's telling. Stephen A. Smith once quoted and said, if I'm going to talk about you publicly, why you shouldn't have to go behind closed doors to address me in private. But that stands out to be not true, because he was pissed off at LeBron for approaching him at the Knicks and Lakers game at Crypto.com Arena. Said that could have been handled behind closed doors. But no, you want to air these people out publicly. So why do they got to address you privately when they have a personal problem with you? And a lot of people say Stephen A. Smith, he crosses the line and goes outside of basketball. And that's what people are saying. Do your job and critique somebody. We have no problem with that. LeBron said he has no problem with you critiquing Bronny on his basketball game. But when you telling LeBron James, I'm begging you and pleading you as a father, that's like a lot of people said, that's a personal jab. That has nothing to do with basketball because now you bringing in fatherhood. I mean, your choice of words was wrong at that particular time. In 22 years, LeBron James finally stepped to somebody, and he happened to be you because, like you said, you out in the public all the time. You ain't running from nobody. You're not ducking no smoke. Or if somebody sees you on site, you always say pull up. That's what LeBron did. Got caught on camera, and we're here now. Everything that you've been saying now, everybody's been catching all the lies that you've been telling. You've been exposed. Channing Frye exposed you. Now, your own host, co-host, and moderator of your show, ESPN First Take, Molly Qerim, has had enough. And she's finally spoke up because in the past, sometimes Molly gets in the way and y'all be shutting Molly down. But this time, Molly gave you the ether. And Molly said some things pertaining to what Draymond Green said about the past NBA players not respecting this generation because everybody's talking about this generation is always disrespecting the past generation. But before we get off into what Draymond Green said, and then followed up by what Molly Qerim and Stephen A. Smith was talking about, I just want y'all to listen to how Molly Qerim, Max ethered Stephen A. Smith and made him just cringe and quit saying everything that he wanted to say. But before we get off into that, right now I'm at 15,153 subscribers, on my way to 16,000. And if you're new to this channel and you're just now coming across this platform and you're seeing any of these videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And with the help of you guys, we can get to 16,000. So I appreciate all the love and support. Now let's take a listen to what Draymond Green said. And this is what sparked the heated debate between Molly Qerim and Stephen A. Smith. Let's take a listen to what Draymond said.
You must respect each era, but the past eras don't respect this era. I disagree in the fact that no, like these eras don't respect us. Like I've seen several guys talk over and over and over again, not in a positive light. I don't think that respect is passed down to us from the other generations, but I think people are quick to say, oh, you got to respect them because they came before. I don't agree with that.
Now you heard what Draymond Green said.
But
now listen to what this argument
about
is.
Basketball on the court.
Well, what happens, it is.
But Draymond's talking about they're disrespected as like players on the court. All these other factors that you're bringing up have nothing to do with playing on the court.
That is patently false.
Stephen A. and their
That's
play and their
false.
talent. Yes, maybe it's a little bit of an advantage, but why should they be disrespected for things that they can't even control?
Well, first of all, nobody should be disrespected. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is because of the conditions under which they're playing, which facilitates them being able to focus on their game, players who came before them that didn't have that luxury feel resentment towards them because of it. So the subject is not about basketball. The subject is about a lack of respect. In other words, you don't see guys saying they can't play. You see guys saying, please, if I had those conditions, this is what I would be. Yeah. That's what they're trying to say. And sometimes that's interpreted as disrespect because you're not taking all of those other things into consideration.
What if they had those conditions in the past? They wouldn't rise up and overcome them as well and be stars?
Well, we're talking about
But I'm saying it should go both ways.
Okay, Molly. Okay, I tried. I'm telling you what the players are saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is that they're bringing old school guys, when they're talking about respect or lack thereof, they're bringing up those things. And those players are interpreting it as disrespect. They're not saying the guys can't play. They're saying if we had the luxuries that they have today, measure us the same way. That's what they're saying. I'm saying you're Draymond Green, you have to bring that up too. It's not that he's wrong, it's that you have to bring up that part. Why are they saying this about the players?
Now you heard what Molly Qerim had to say. Now, see, there's two things about this. See, Molly Qerim called out Stephen A for the hypocrisy that Stephen A displays. Because now this is what people are talking about. Stephen A. Smith, you're talking about everything but on the basketball court. So you tried to flip it and make it seem like that was, pertinent to what you was trying to get across. See, Stephen A. used these big words and he turns his hand like that to draw you in. But Molly Qerim called him out for the bullshit. See, Molly basically says, Stephen, you can't have it both ways. What you're talking about has nothing to do with basketball on the criticism. You bringing in all these factors, like Molly Qerim said, that's stuff that these players can't control. See, Stephen A. Smith right now, I don't know what this LeBron James feud has done to Stephen A. Smith, but it seems like Stephen A. Smith right now is in the trick bag and he's fumbling and bumbling of his words. And now he's trying to rise above the occasion and make you think that he is talking about something that's legitimacy because of the way he's articulating his words and the way he's talking. But see, you can see how cringed he was when Molly started firing back at him, talking about, Stephen, now you can't have it both ways. See, this is what people are talking about. So you get personal and see what Draymond said was absolutely correct. And then see, you even said that at the end of your soliloquy. You said, I'm not saying that Draymond's wrong, but you started off and said that Draymond Green was wrong. But at the end of it, when Molly got in your shit, then you wanted to change and say, I'm not saying Draymond's wrong. So I'm glad at this time, man, Molly got her get back. Molly for the W. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and man behind the K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.